Hello everybody. Today I would like to answer the 10 questions about e-learning that is given by Mr. Harry. Before I start, I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Komang Kristiyanti and I'm from 5E class. Let's jump into the first question, which is about online learning, synchronous learning, and asynchronous learning. Online learning is the type of learning which use internet as the main medium. Through online learning, student and teacher can share and gain information directly. In this age, learning is not only traditionally in the classroom, listening to the lectures from the teacher, and it's repeated continuously. But learning processes also can be done outside of the classroom with under any circumstances. The online course itself makes a new change for the process of information exchange that is occurs when we learn something. So it can be said also that online learning have so many impacts for both student and the teacher in terms of motivation, effectiveness, efficiency, and so on in the learning and teaching process. Now we jump into the synchronous learning and asynchronous learning. According to Khan 2006, as cited in Sahabadi and Euclid 2015, stated that synchronous learning is an interaction of participants with an instructor via the web in the real time. While Mayadas in 1997 stated that asynchronous learning means that an interactive learning community that is not limited by the time, place, or the constraints of the classroom. So both of those learning types is a similarly student-centered approach because it emphasizes in the students' peer-to-peer interaction. Actually, the asynchronous learning is more flexible than the synchronous one because the learning process is not fully set as the monotonous learning. It also follows the condition of the participants, which is the students and the learners, such as the personal schedule from the teacher and the learners. Uh, while the synchronous learning, uh, it require the same time and place learning, which is like the usual kind of learning so far. The next one, we jump into the LMS basic features. Here, there are 12 LMS basic features, which is normally used in the LMS. So the first one is announcement. Announcement is a place that is used by the teacher to publish announcements about the learning activities and also in other important things. And then the next one we have syllabus. Syllabus is an element in LMS that contains learning objectives and also learning activities, assessment section, and so on. And the next one we have lesson. Lesson is the most important element in LMS. The teacher will post the lesson to the LMS, which will be later become the material that will be studied by the students. The teacher will post this lesson week by week. So every week the students will be guided about the material that will be studied. And then the next one is discussion forums. Discussion forums is a space that is used by the students to discuss about a certain topic, and the students can give opinion, comments, or feedback to other students. With this element, students can still interact to other students even though they are not face-to-face learning process like that. And then the next one we have Dropboxes or assignment upload, which is a feature that is in LMS that is used by the students to submit or collect the assignment that is given by the teacher. and also disseminate additional information or other documents that is related to the learning materials. The next one we have gradebook, which is an element in LMS that serves as a record of the students' activities, such as the students' attendance, students' participation, and also assignment grades, and so on. Next is course mail, which is a feature that is used by the teacher to convey information personally to the students. And then the next one we have resources, which is an element in LMS that provides learning sources for students, so that the student can add a lot of information for their learning process. And next one we have blogs also, wikis, test and quiz, and word group. Next one we jump into the third questions. So this is the example of a good introduction writing for one topic meeting. So here, for example, the students here are from 5E class, and then here is the instruction that state that read the book and then find out the difficult subtopics that the students do not understand yet. And then the style here, it is example of a simple one. The simplest way to write or making introduction a section for online course. And the writing is very clear, do not contain any ambiguous or cliche. And also the language here, as we can see, it use familiar words, so later the students will not confuse about the instruction from the teacher. And also it is to the point, like that. So here, for example, the teacher's name, and there is a note here. So yeah, it is a simple one. Next, we jump into the question about online learning should be attractive. So the reason why online learning should be attractive is that students do not feel bored when they have to use online learning. If boredom arises, then the motivation of students to learn will decrease, so that the learning objectives are not achieved. Therefore, online learning must be designed attractively as attractive as possible. So here are the elements that are needed for attractive online learning. The first one is layout. For example, giving sufficient space between lines, paragraphs, and to the right and left, so that it stands out and easy to be read, like that. And the second one is the text. For example, the type size should be large enough to be easily readable by all of the students. And the third one is the color. There should be a good contrast between the text and the background. And then the last one is graphic elements. For example, like bullets they use to highlight the series of items that are not prioritized. And then we jump into the fifth questions. This is the types of online learning activities and its relevant technological tools. The first one is class discussion. Here is the tool that I choose. Here is my BB. And then the journal writing, we can use blog. And then the next one is shared knowledge base, which is we can use wiki, for example, and then practice exercises through testing and quizzing. And then the next one is projects. We can do it through work groups. And then the last one is receptive activities. For example, using PDF, podcasts, or Google presentation. So the next one is, how does the teacher optimize online discussion? So in the discussion, it is necessary to have something engage student to conduct a discussion. The teacher must be able to make an online discussion, to be a something very fun, or that can increase the students' motivation to participate. Therefore, uh, the method that is used to optimize the online discussion are needed. Like, for example, set the guidelines used by the participants in conducting online discussion. Also, the presence of due date is also needed so that the teacher can assess the students' initiative. And also, don't forget to give feedback to students who participate by giving a score for each comments of the students. And then the next one, okay, here is the example of learning resources beside of the example of the in the book. Here I choose TED.ed. So here is the appearance of the website by using mobile phone. Now I would like to give you a short video about how to operate this website, this TED.ed. So here are they. So here there are a lot of kind of video that is about learning materials. So first of all, you have to go to the ed.ted.com. So for example, we choose the first video, how to 3D print human tissue. So here's the appearance. So I try to scroll and waiting for the video. And here is also, there is another video that is related to the video that I choose before, like this. And then this is the video that is from the YouTube. So yeah, this is a very attractive video that can be news research for the students to learn the material. So yeah, that is the example of using TED.ed. And then the next one, we have example of effective assessment. And here I use writing skill assessment. So the characteristic that I assess here is these four characteristics. There are content, organization, grammar, capitalization, punctuation, and spelling. So here are the grade for the students. So for example, in the excellent, for the characteristics of content, it should be, the idea is very clear, the supporting details are relevant to the topic. So the students will get the excellent point in range of 10, in range of 8 to 10. And next, for example, in organization, for need improvement grade, which is 0 to 4, the introduction, body, and conclusion are in the wrong sequence. So it is not in a good sequence, and the text is incoherent and not logic. So the students will get the need improvement grade, like that. And then for good grade, from 5 to 7, for example, in capitalization, punctuation, and spelling, there are several misspelling incorrect punctuation and capitalization. So now let's jump into the question number 9, which is about the basic elements to build an online course. Here are the 4 elements that is basically needed to build an online course. The first one is learning outcomes. Learning outcomes is the most important things in the teaching and learning process. Learning outcomes is needed as a reference for the teachers to ensure that the students can achieve the standard of understanding of every material. And the learning outcomes should be measurable and also specific. The second one is online syllabus. Online syllabus and on-site syllabus is similar. Uh, a syllabus is needed because there are some elements for the teacher as a guidelines to do activities in the classroom. There are specific characteristics for online syllabus, such as the communication strategy and also a clear description of the course, time frame, and also the format, and also the guideline for online class participation and also technical requirement and support. And the last one is a detailed course outline for from the start and until the end time like that. And also the last one is lesson, like what I've said before, that lesson is learning material that is posed by the teacher that should be learned by the students, whether in the classroom or out of classroom like that. And then now let's jump into the last question about the example of online lesson for one meeting. Here is the example that I made. Here is the instruction is the heading. Here is reading assignment and discussion session. Here is the instruction. Please read Essentials of Online Course Design book in chapter 4, then divide your class into 10 groups. And the student should make a short summary and then write down the questions about difficult subtopics that they don't understand yet, and then submit it, and then later they will conduct a discussion session. And then here is also the note about the due date of the discussion session, and here is the teacher's name. So yeah, I think that's all about my answer for the 10 questions that is given by Mr. Harry. So thank you for your attention and see you.